Hi, Steve. Remy Sandry auditioning for Sir Robert. I'm going to start with the line, in other words, he showed you exactly how he wrote his signature, and then go through to the end of the scene. Hope you're well. Here we go. In other words, he showed you exactly how he wrote his signature.
Suppose he did.
Did you practice writing it yourself?
I might have done.
What do you mean you might have done? Did you or did you not?
Yes, it was only for a joke.
Never mind whether it was for a joke or not. The fact is you practiced forging Elliot's signature.
It wasn't forging.
What do you call it then?
Writing.
Very well. Writing. Whoever stole the postal order and cashed it also wrote Elliot's signature, didn't he?
Yes.
And oddly enough, in the exact form in which you had earlier been practicing writing his signature.
I say, which side are you on?
Don't be impertinent. Are you aware that the Admiralty sent up the forged postal order to Mr. Ridgely Pierce, the greatest handwriting expert in England?
Yes.
And you know that Mr. Ridgely Pierce affirmed that there was no doubt that the signature on the postal order and the signature you wrote on the envelope were by one and the same hand?
Yes.
And you still say that you didn't forge that signature?
Yes, I do.
Or in other words, Mr. Ridgely Pierce doesn't know his job.
Well, he's wrong anyway.
When you went into the locker room after lunch, were you alone?
I don't remember.
I think you do. Were you alone in the locker room?
Yes.
And you knew which was Elliot's locker?
Yes, of course.
Why did you go in there at all?
I've told you to put my 15 and 6 away.
Why?
I thought it would be safer.
Well, why safer than your pocket?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you had it in your pocket at dinner time. Why this sudden fear for its safety?
I tell you, I don't know.
It was rather an odd thing to do, wasn't it? The money was perfectly safe in your pocket. Why did you suddenly feel yourself impelled to put it away in your locker?
I don't know.
Was it because you knew that you would be alone in the locker room at that time?
No.
Where was Elliot's locker in relation to yours?
Next to it but one.
Next but one. And what time did Elliot put his postal order in his locker?
I don't know. I didn't even know he had a postal order in his locker. I didn't know he had a postal order at all.
Yet you say he was a great friend of yours.
He didn't tell me he had one.
How very secretive of him. What time did you go into the locker room?
I don't remember.
Was it directly after dinner?
Yes, I think so.
What did you do after leaving the locker room?
I've told you I went for permission to go to the post office.
What time was that?
About 2:15.
Well, dinner is over at 1:45, which means that you were alone in the locker room for half an hour?
I wasn't there all that time.
How long were you there?
About 5 minutes.
And what were you doing for the other 25?
I don't remember.
It's odd that your memory is so good about some things and so bad about others.
Perhaps I waited outside the CO's office.
Perhaps you waited outside the CO's office, and perhaps no one saw you there either.
No, I don't think they did.
What were you thinking about outside the CO's office for 25 minutes?
I don't even know if I was there. I can't remember. Perhaps I wasn't there at all.
No, perhaps you were still in the locker room rifling Elliot's locker.
I remember now. I remember someone did see me outside the CO's office. A chap called Casey. I remember I spoke to him.
What did you say?
I said, come down to the post office with me. I'm going to cash a postal order.
Cash a postal order?
I mean get.
Well, you said cash. Why did you say cash if you meant get?
I don't know.
I suggest cash was the truth.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't really. You're muddling me.
You seem easily muddled. How many other lies have you told?
None, really. I haven't.
I suggest your whole testimony is a lie.
No, it's the truth.
I suggest that there is barely one single word of truth in anything you have said either to me or to the judge advocate or to the commander. I suggest that you broke into Elliot's locker, that you stole the postal order for 5 shillings belonging to Elliot, and you cashed it by means of forging his name. I suggest that you did it for a joke, meaning to give Elliot the 5 shillings back, but that when you met him and he said he had reported the matter, that you got frightened and decided to keep quiet.
No, it isn't true.
I suggest by continuing to deny your guilt, you are causing great hardship to your own family and considerable annoyance to high and important persons in this country. I suggest that the time has at last come for you to undo some of the misery you have caused by confessing to us all now that you are a forger, a liar, and a thief.
I'm not. I didn't do it.
Oh, yes. The boy is plainly innocent. I accept the brief.